keeps getting on me to get this show mixed, so I'm calling the cops for his controlling behavior. We find out that swimming with sharks is far safer than we thought, and that scientists are getting closer to unleashing a real-life B-list horror film about brains.
Robot lady, sound the alarm!
Warning. The following podcast is another wasted hour. Warning. The following podcast is another wasted hour.
Don't waste my motherfucking time! It's that time of year again where we all gather together in great groups to celebrate our independence, which seems ironic, but somehow it's not. Sometimes those groups include all getting together in the emergency room. So everyone, welcome to yet another hour of another wasted hour. The next hour of your life is going to be replaced with two ignorant, uninformed, ill-advised, self-deprecating morons ranting about opinions they have no right to have, which are probably wrong and absolutely do not matter. Our goal here at Another Wasted Hour is to convince you that where we hail from, just outside Washington, D.C., is not just a city of politics and scandals, but one brimming with art, music, and culture, and fireworks, and tanks, and oh, God damn it, as impossible as that may seem. So listeners, now that you know why you're here in studio, we have Griff and Ryan of the Upstarters. Woo! So hello, Griff. Say hi to all the folks.
What's up, folks?
Hi.
Hey.
And Ryan, let's hear how you sound.
Hey, how are you guys doing today?
You seemed surprised that I asked you to talk. Ryan, how are you celebrating your independence this year?
Let's see. Cleaning my house and having family over, all that boring stuff.
Are you doing it independently? That's the important part.
I wish I could just sit on my couch and play Red Dead all day, but I have to have some people over and use a grill. I don't know really how to work, but I'm going to pretend.
It's always great. With, first fireworks you don't know how to use, and also grill you don't know how to use.
Yeah.
There's absolutely nothing that can go wrong tomorrow.
No, perfectly safe. No problems whatsoever. Do you have a burn kit? You might want a burn kit. I'm just saying.
Propane's not flammable, right?
Yeah.
No, you're good.
I mean, doesn't flammable and inflammable mean the same thing? So,
yeah, this is always the time of year in which I invest in stocks that sell aloe. It's it's always a good thing to do. Yeah, it's weird though, I feel like, because we say that it is our day of independence. We're celebrating our independence. And I assume that we then fire off fireworks to scare the British away. But then we have so many things that are illegal. We can't actually do our fireworks ourselves. We have to have our government do it for us, which seems ironic.
only a little bit. I mean, unless from where you, unless you're where I live here in Baltimore, where you just drive an hour north into Pennsylvania, get whatever you want.
Well, that's the thing. So we went last weekend out to West Virginia. We've got land out there. We went camping. I stopped at just one of those like tents at the side of the road, right? And I thought, hey, we're in West Virginia. They've got more legal fireworks and stuff like that. We'll stop at the side of the road. We'll get some fireworks. We'll go like fuck around while we're camping, right? And I thought, it'd be cool. I'll get like some bottle rockets. And like we pulled in, right? We parked. We went into the tent. And it was like all mortars. I was like, Jesus Christ, people. You just doubled down on this. It's half mortars and then half stuff for like just people who are scared of mortars.
But the mortars are better.
Right.
They make a nice solid boom when they go off, and they'll kill you if the tube falls over.
Yeah, they'll absolutely murder you. I got none of them because I do not trust myself at all.
Oh, man.
I mean, I lit off about an entire case of them one 4th of July while blackout drunk, so I feel like you can do it.
You feel strongly about it? I burned my shirt with a bottle rocket, so I think I'll hold off. My beard is shorter. I was planning on trimming it anyway. But
so I was going to say, for your independence, it looked like you made yourself independent from about a couple feet of beard hair there.
Yeah. But there is a chance, there's a rumor going around that maybe I put a bunch of gasoline on a campfire and it singed my beard. I can't deny or say or confirm that actually occurred, but there are rumors. And so now it's shorter because it's a summer look or the post-burn look. One of the two. Go either way.
You unfortunately can't use that for the top of your head.
That's true. Yeah.
We've known you've been bald for years now.
Well, that was a terrible burn accident as well.
That's what I say too for my baldness.
Right. Why do you have to make fun of it? The skin graft just doesn't have hair. My God. So, Griffin, Ryan, you're with a band called the Upstarters, which is why you're here today. I hear you guys are playing a pretty big show down at Dangerously Delicious Pies in Washington, D.C. on Saturday, July 13th. What's going on with that show?
Yeah, that's our first time at Dangerously Delicious Pies, or they call it Pie Shop, it seems like.
Pie Shop, yeah.
Yeah, so we're playing with a band. I forget, I think they're from North Carolina, Sergeant Scagnetti.
That is not a real band. You just made that up.
It sounds like it, but that is a real band. And of course, with a name like that, they are a ska band. It's a ska themed show, and we somehow get lumped into those, even though we're not exactly.
I mean, you've got guitar players and trumpet players. So.
Yeah, that's right.
Automatic ska.
Really, it's so true. We play like 1 or 2 ska songs, but that's the shows we get. And this is an example of that. Free ska night at Dangerously Delicious Pies.
Yeah.
So it was free.
So is this still the trend where all the ska bands just add the word ska somewhere in their name?
I hate that trend, but yeah, I hate that. I don't know. That's like the worst, I think. But
right
yeah.
up there with doing the checkerboard bands.
Yeah, people. Yeah, it's tough. Although,
What's the name of that? It's like the guy with the hat, the sunglasses, the suit, and the checkerboard band.
well, I guess it's like a British.
something man.
Well, it's like a British thing. From like the 70s, from like all the mods and the, like the specials and all these British bands that like wore suits and stuff. But they they used to be called in Jamaica Rude Boys.
Right.
And then I don't know, but who knows? White
now
people just
Drake
take
has
things.
picked up Rude Boy and ran with it.
Yeah. You just steal things and then you make them yours. That's how we do it. Yeah, I know there was like back in the day you had like Scotalites and you had like Mephistopheles and
Right.
that was like, you're a ska band.
I think you made that last one up.
That's a real band.
That is.
I think they do Bumblebee Tuna, right? Is that the right one?
I think so. They're a satanic ska band.
What?
That's like their theme is like Satan related
What?
stuff. Yeah,
I'm
they're
in the
pretty
wrong
good.
band.
Yeah, good luck getting in. But they're pretty. It seems like they're getting more. They've been around for a long time, but it does seem like they're
I had
getting
no
traction.
clue there was such a thing.
But at least the Scotalites, that was like the first ska band, so they kind of can get away with it.
Yeah.
We actually played
Didn't we
with
play
them.
with them? Yeah.
We did. Yeah, we played with them like a few months ago. Actually, they had no equipment. We had to lend them like everything.
By the way, I totally nailed this. I'm very proud of myself. Mephistopheles, the song we all know from them, Bumblebee Tuna. The I love Bumblebee Tuna, like that song. You never heard that song?
I don't know. I
88 over here.
I should say yes because I'm supposed to be
I
like.
hate both of you. You suck.
No, but that's really good that you know all these like kind of niche-y ska groups.
You know who you should be playing with on the 13th?
Who?
The Pie Tasters.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah,
We
that's a
played
good
with the Pie
point.
Tasters before.
You're at the pie shop and you're
I
doing
know.
ska. We should have made this happen.
They're tough to nail down. I mean, we played with them at a beer fest, and that was awesome.
Yeah, they're pretty great.
Yeah.
And they've been all over the place. They're very cool. But the most important ska band, obviously, right now, which is not really a ska band but just has trumpets, is the Upstarters. That's you guys.
Right.
You're our favorite for now. So you said you're not really
take it.
You're not really a ska band. What would you call yourselves? What kind of music do you guys do?
I mean, it's like I think the original idea for this was like a genre kind of fusing project. That would be more of like a show rather like this is a ska band or a rock band. So like what we try to do, and we're still kind of working on rounding it out, is we play like, we'll play like thrash metal, then we'll play like R&B and then reggae and kind of like hit these far corners of genres and sort of tie it all together somehow.
So you're just musically gaslighting people is what you're saying.
Yeah. No one's happy by the end. Everyone's like
I would
teased.
agree with that.
We're just like music.
They're
musical
like,
form.
I love ska. Wait, what the fuck is going on right now?
we play one ska tune and like they get one maybe like 40 minutes later.
They get like a little chubby and then they're like, oh no, what's all this crap?
Yeah, like R&B and metal in between.
And then the people who like R&B are like, whoa, wait a minute. Is this R&B? Is this really an R&B band? And then you go into metal and they're like, fuck, come on.
Yeah, that feels about right. Like but there are people, it's weird. It's like one of those things where it's like extremely polarizing, but there are people that is what they get off on. And that's kind of like what I like. I love bands. Like my favorite band is Fishbone. I don't know if you guys ever
I've
got
heard
into
Fishbone,
them.
Yeah.
That's like my favorite group. And that's because they do everything from like country to like soul to metal to ska. So that's kind of
So your goal is basically to see if you can get somebody to beat you up outside in the parking lot after the show.
Oh my gosh. So accurate.
Yeah.
From where
I thought you were doing country. What the fuck?
Yeah.
Just a throwdown. Well, so you can check out the Upstarters at upstartersband.com. We've got a track from you today called Cryptic from the EP Attack of the Upstarters. Very retro like that. That came out last year. We'll have a clip of it a little later in the show. If you're impatient and you want to listen to the entire track, I don't blame you. Fast forward to the 1 hour mark of the show, then come back and join us for more of the ridiculousness. And don't forget, go up to Dangerously Delicious Pies in DC on Saturday, July 13th and check them out. I assume you're going to play Cryptic during that show, right?
Yeah, that's sort of like at this point has been our closer.
It's like our high energy ender right there.
So if you like the tune, make sure you go and check them out and just see the end of the show. Otherwise, you'll be pissed off.
Yeah, only come for the last 3 minutes.
You'll hate the rest of the entire show, but you will like that last one. All right. So thank you for coming out, guys. We really appreciate it. Now that we know that you are comfortable trying new things and doing things that you that don't fit into your normal genre, we want to try and have you do something brand new. We're going to put you in the role of editor-in-chief of your brand new publication. You get to decide what goes in, what comes out, what do you want the people to see. And Adam and I, as your loyal faithful reporters, we've gone out onto the internet, we've scoured the internet, we've done a really quick search and not cared that much, and we have brought real news items to you guys to try and see if we can get something in the publication. Are you guys ready?
I'm ready.
Now keep in mind, at the end of this, we're going to need a name for your publication. So think about that as you bring things in. What is your brand going to be? All right. So let's get started with Adam. What did you find this week in the interwebs?
Well, men's rights activists can rejoice because woman arrested and charged with, quote, controlling behavior for telling bodybuilder husband to tidy the house.
She got arrested for nagging?
Pretty much. So I won't reveal the name, but basically it's a couple in England. He's a bodybuilder who spends all of his time either doing that or apparently spending 4 hours at a time cleaning his car.
Jesus Christ. He needs to figure out how to do that faster.
And she left a note saying, hey, would you mind trying to clean up the dishes today? Or, hey, do you mind helping to vacuum a little bit?
Right.
And she came home one day to find him not there, but the police waiting for her to arrest her.
Oh my God.
How do you arrest somebody for politely asking you to participate in a household?
So apparently there is actually laws against, quote, controlling behavior, but it's mainly targeted towards victims of abusive relationships.
Wow.
I think there's a difference between controlling behavior and asking someone to do something.
Which is why this case was thrown out eventually. But it's still pretty interesting. So they actually have these things. We've all seen, like, Lifetime movies where someone gets trapped in the abusive relationship
Right.
and, have to send pictures at any given moment of what they're doing and things like that. This is what the laws are supposed to protect.
Yeah.
I can just see the guy just like cowering, like in fear in the corner. The wife's like, could you do the dishes? And he's like, no, in tears.
I'm gonna take care of my car.
Why, God? Why?
Please.
What was this in, like, a small town? It has to be in a small rural town.
He wouldn't
North
fit
Yorkshire.
in a small town. He's got too many muscles.
He is pretty jacked. So the lead picture is the guy, and I'll spin it for our guests to see, but
Yeah.
he's a pretty jacked
He's
dude.
ripped.
He looks older too.
Yeah.
Looks pretty old.
Looks
Looks like
probably
an
like he's in his
android.
late
Looks like
50s,
Ric
early
Flair.
60s, something like that. But
That's
Yeah,
my
Ric Flair
theory.
was-
That's my theory of why it takes him so long to clean his car. Is he has like a Robin Reliant, like one of those like 3-wheeled cars, and he's so jacked that he just can't actually get into it to clean it. So you-
I actually saw one of those on the side of the road for sale on my way to vacation earlier this week.
yeah, no, and what he has to do to clean it is he just has to pick it up and shake it like trying to get a pick out of a guitar.
But there's the trick. You can never get a pick out of a guitar.
Exactly. Takes 4 hours of being like, goddamn Coke can.
Yeah,
You got
guitar.
Jim Belushi the whole thing. There's no way.
Where did you
Yeah.
see a Robin Reliant?
It was on my way up to New York. It was somewhere in Pennsylvania, just cruising along, and also I see a bright red Robin Reliant on the side of the road with a for sale sign.
Is it a Reliant Robin? Maybe it's a Reliant Robin. The company was Reliant, right? I think
so.
So I think we're saying it wrong. I think it should be Reliant Robin, I think. But I've also don't care. So, so wow, that guy's got like, I can't decide if that guy's got huge balls or no balls.
I'm leaning towards no balls.
Because he
yeah,
was,
I agree with Ryan.
it's either big balls, he was like, you know what? I'm not going to do any of the chores around the house. And you know what? I'm going to get you fucking arrested for it. And you're like, wow, that's brazen. Or he was like, I don't want to have to do chores. I'm going to call the police to make them do the dirty work. That's
I don't know.
crazy.
I live in a household, so it's like me and my girlfriend and 4 cats, and I do everything, like literally top to bottom. We work at the same place.
Yeah.
I end up doing the dishes. I do all of the litter. I'm like constantly cleaning and organizing things. I can understand why he would want to call the police. I would never call the police, you know.
But he's like
Fuck 12. But,
Yeah, but
like I would.
She's the one doing it all, right?
Yeah.
Like in this one, he wasn't
is?
doing
She-
anything, right?
she'd be calling the cops on you for asking
So
her
I
to do
guess
stuff.
what I'm saying is I can like feel where she's coming from.
Yeah, no.
Especially if he's spending that much time on his body, but
And
he's
his car.
not paying attention. Yeah, in his car. And he's just paying attention to his car and his body so he can like pull more strange, you know? There's no reason why he would be doing that if he wasn't trying to get personal gain.
Right. I'm Ric Flair, you know.
Right. He's like, who do you think you are? I have to spend time at the gym. I don't know.
He really does look
But
like
I can
Ric
like
Flair.
feel for the girl, I
Yeah.
guess. I'm not like siding with her, but I do have empathy.
How can't you side with her?
I'm
It
siding
sounds
with
like
her.
yeah. Hey, can you do the dishes? And he's
You
like
shouldn't be
calling the
scared to
cops.
ask for help, you
Right?
know?
That's crazy. But is it news?
No. I would say no. In
No.
this day and age, yes, but like it should not be news. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like nowadays anything can be news, but like overall, if this were to make like headlines, waste of ink.
Would it
I
go?
only-
Would you put it in your publication?
I'm gonna vote. I'm gonna veto it. I'm gonna say no.
Yeah, I'd probably say the same just so that like there's not like hundreds of calls of like men all over the world calling the cops on their
Oh.
wives for like
You don't want them to learn that they can do it? Is that what you're
yeah,
saying?
exactly. I don't want to teach people that they can call
Right.
the cops on their wives instead of vacuuming.
I've like never
scooping
worked
the
out
litter.
a day in my life though, so
Yeah,
I
that's
don't know
good.
like how. I'm sure that type of thing is like addictive, and you're like you get into it, you want to keep it developing and evolving. But I don't know
That's-
about you guys, but
No,
I'm
it's-
not
it,
on
it
that.
has to be because we've all had that one friend that got into running one weekend and now won't shut up about it.
You guys know I ran today,
They're
right?
gone. They disappeared. They ran away.
I wish.
Yes, we get it. You like CrossFit, whatever. All right, so not news and a surprising upset to start off things. He's usually way better at this than I am, so we'll see if I can pull out ahead. Here's the headline: selfies now 5 times more deadly than shark attacks. That's right. You are 5 times more likely to die taking a selfie than being attacked by a shark. I presume that there's also been a significant uptick in people taking selfies while being attacked by sharks, which is arguably the bloodiest of the Venn diagrams. So
I wish this sounded ridiculous to me, but
Yeah.
no, it makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
It really does.
I would say that this is news because it like defines the times.
It
It's
does.
giving us an understanding of how we interact with technology, how we interact with culture. It's like showing how belittled we've made ourselves in terms of like the internal experience. We're trying to externalize everything. I would say that this is news, but it's like sad news. It's not something we should celebrate.
I will say I think that's the most intelligently I've heard anyone on this podcast to explain why it would be news.
Nice.
Very nice.
yeah, I think we need to maybe publish some type of like decision tree or something? Because right now there's obviously at least a subset of people that are like, oh my God, it's a bear. Hold on a second.
Right.
Yeah. Driving down.
I'm going to get a selfie with it. No, don't do that.
Or people like climb to the top of really tall buildings with no safety gear and then try to take selfies up on like the top of the lightning tower.
Did you
or whatever.
guys hear about the whole? Oh man, it's not the Himalayas. It's like some mountain. I don't even know. I sound super ignorant, but there's like popular mountain. I think it's Everest. There you go. Everyone's trying to climb it, and
Yeah, it was
it's
Everest.
so populated with people trying to get selfies that like people are dying trying to get selfies. Like no joke. The Sherpas are like leaving their groups because they're sick of these like white people coming in and trying to like just take selfies. Like bodies are unthawing during like, you know, the whole global warming thing. It's insane.
That is wild. Yeah.
It's insane. There are pictures too. Like if you look it up, it's just like literally piles of bodies, piles of waste, cans, food waste, human waste, just like at the bottom of this.
Taking a selfie while taking a shit on the mountainside.
I'm shitting on Everest, people.
That's actually pretty cool. I'm not gonna lie.
This
You'll
is
see
the highest shit on earth.
Right. But yeah, that's like very sad, you know.
Yeah.
Like it's funny as hell, but like, gosh, what are we doing?
It's pretty bad. Well, you see people driving down the road, like on the beltway, like hands through the steering wheel, like
I've been
on
guilty
their
of that.
phones.
I've been guilty of
I'm
that.
going
Yeah.
like 80, like I don't know. That's pretty bad.
I've tried to like record myself driving to a studio so I can be like driving to the studio.
Oh no,
like,
that's the
on my
worst.
Instagram.
You're out of the band.
Crashing into this car, Sen. For the record, just so that we have a learning opportunity here, Everest is in the Himalayas. Just, I want to clear that up for all of our listeners.
Yeah, I definitely like, you know, I'm an English major. I'm not that smart.
Yeah, if you're concerned that you're in a really cool place and you can't get the full view without hanging over the side to take your selfie, you got your
Right.
priorities wrong. So the question is it news?
I'm going to say yes
Yep,
because
it's in.
like I said earlier, it defines culture, technology, our relationship to it, and how like, you know, downtrodden
Yeah.
we've made it.
Ron,
Here's a mirror society.
Yeah. It's like Black Mirror shit, you know.
how many dead bodies are now in the Grand Canyon just because of selfies? All right, Adam, what do you got?
So before I read the headline, after I read it, take a couple seconds and then tell me if this makes you think of someone in particular. You ready?
Okay.
Mini brains grown from stem cells don't think, but they do show complex neural activity, researchers say.
Me!
It's like, you're not thinking a whole lot, but there's something going on in there, ain't there?
Oh, let's see where the joke is. Nice. That was a good one.
Even a blind squirrel. So yeah, that's I think
Speaking of like Black Mirror level shit, they've
Yeah,
actually
I
like
think-
managed to grow brains out of stem cells in addition, then like analyze how brains develop and how they think. And
Well, where do you guys stand on like souls and spirits and stuff? Because I feel like that's a deciding factor in terms of like where does biology end and where does spiritualism and like the ethereal take hold?
that's a great question. And
when it comes to spirits, I'm a solid middle shelf guy.
yeah.
I don't like bottom shelf spirits because they tend to be kind of harsh. Whatever, top shelf's way too expensive. Just middle shelf bourbon, tequila, vodka. That's my kind of spirits
Yeah.
right
I
there.
hear you.
And when it comes to souls, the biggest issue I have with the whole concept of souls is that they're just incredibly difficult to steal.
Yeah. I hate when I lose them in Dark Souls.
Yes.
sucks.
I still haven't played that.
Yeah,
need
no,
to.
I think I went on a date with a girl like that once, where there was something going on, but it wasn't actual thoughts.
You're paying for dinner, right?
I
mean,
felt
this
like
is-
I needed to feed her just so that because I wasn't sure she'd be able to do it herself, and so I thought it was a service.
It's like a very scientific way of saying what we used to say in North Carolina, which is, you know, it just seems like their cornbread just ain't done in the middle.
I like that.
Yeah, no, that's true. She was, needless to say, she was not the sharpest crayon in the shed. So, is it news?
I'm gonna say yes. What do you say, Ryan?
Yeah, that's definitely interesting.
Seems pretty relevant to like
Yeah.
the human experience.
I feel like you could have stopped at just made tiny brain.
Yeah. I mean, that's,
Yeah, I
pretty
mean,
cool.
have you guys read about mycelium, like the vegetal growth of mushrooms?
Yeah.
Yeah, it like is conscious. If you step on it, or if there's like a trodden path going over it, it will continually like pull away from that, find like new networks to like dip into. I feel like there's a lot of like forms of consciousness going around that we don't have equipment to measure. So it's like the more open we can be to realizing where that consciousness lies, the better we will be.
And I would
towards
argue that probably
future.
80 to 90% of that resides in government.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's at least controlled by government.
All right, so on to the next. The London Zoo is celebrating Pride Month in honor of its gay penguins. That's right. Penguins can be gay. Get over it. Like you couldn't tell by the way they dressed. It's a combination of black tie and butt-ass naked.
open front.
They're literally like the only species in the wild that avoids casual sex because they're dressed up. So yeah,
They stay true to their mates too.
dude.
You know?
I think some of them do. I think other ones probably just get high on meth and fuck whatever comes along.
Hey, don't we all?
We all go through that phase in college,
We're
right?
all penguins in one way or another.
I got those happy feet, dog.
All right. I waddle around after a big meal. So so yeah, this is there's apparently gay penguins, and they put up a sign that they were like, Happy Pride Month. Some penguins are gay, like, you know, get used to it. And I thought that was kind of cool to say that, you know, hey, this is a thing that happens in nature, because I'm sure that some will say that those penguins chose to be gay. But that seems also very weird that we have choices happening in the wild kingdom where they're like, procreation's not so important. I'm going to do this other thing instead.
Well, I mean, are we all just like seeking pleasure? You know, like animals. Like I've been vegan for like over 10 years. I feel
I
like
thought you said you were seeking pleasure.
well, seeking pleasure would mean like
Like
if you're,
literally right now.
Yeah, I mean, if you're not trying to procreate, procreation is production. If you're trying to have pleasure, that's like a little vacation, you know?
Sure.
No matter whose like little fin is in your mouth, I feel like you can still, it's all about like having the pleasure. It's all about having the fun, the recreation.
I feel like 90% of people's things in my mouth would not give me pleasure. There's like a real small window there of
You've
people
never
that I'm
had
like,
those,
cool. I was
You gotta
sleeping, but I'm okay with it.
you gotta get those happy feet, man. Those happy feet on your chest
Yeah.
or in your mouth.
I have a feeling that if we were all just seeking pleasure, there would be no such thing as marriage.
I would agree. Well, it's like, where does pleasure end and like capitalism begin? Like, where does progress begin and where does like pleasure end? You know, vacation versus like production, like all those things come into question when you start to like question the like conscious free. We don't think that these animals have consciousness, and we're gonna like watch them and judge them from a human scope, from a human perspective, and try to like idealize how they view relationships.
Griff, for the record, if you keep making me think, I'm going to beat you up in the parking lot.
No, I mean, I'm sick of myself, dude. I do not even, I mean, you know.
I'm going to call the cops on you for forcing me to think. You're being very controlling right now.
Guilty.
All
We
right.
can't play one song at band practice without philosophical breaks between.
That's not true. That's not true.
It's not.
All right. So is it news? Did we decide it's news or not?
I'd say for Pride Month, it is news.
Yeah.
And I don't mean hate on this, but I would not include it in news if it wasn't Pride Month last month.
Just
Is that
just
that
gay
bad?
penguins, not news, except for once a year.
Exactly.
I have a feeling that's the problem.
I'm trying to keep it real. Gay penguins once a month.
Once a year.
News. Excuse me. Once a year. News.
Yeah.
I saw two
What do you
male
think?
dogs boning. Is that news? Is that like
Once a month,
make
once
that-
a year it is.
That's
Two
just living
dogs
in the
bone.
South, dude.
Yeah, that's a tough call. I don't know.
All right, Adam, what do you got?
All right, so as we run low on time, we're going to go ahead and go into our lightning round. So we're just going to throw a headline at you. If you have questions, we'll try to answer it. We didn't read these nearly as well as we did the other ones. Massachusetts man stole truck, said he was hauling missiles to Canada.
Man,
The
without
lightning round, news or not. What do you say?
I mean,
I feel
you
like
have
I've been
yeah,
watching
how
too much.
did yes, I mean without knowing more.
What do you need to know?
Well, how did he get them and who is this man?
They were on the side of the road in West Virginia. They're legal there.
I found these missiles.
Judging by the description, I don't think he actually had missiles, but he did have a tractor trailer of stuff he had stolen.
Yeah, that's bad. We need to. That's news. You need to alert the community.
I like that he was going for that old tactic where you go like above and beyond, right? Where like they pull you over and they're like, "Do you know why I pulled you over?" And they're like, "The dead body in the trunk." And they're like, "What the fuck?" And then they open the trunk. There's like, "There's not a dead body here." And then they forget that you were speeding, and so they let you go.
Oh man, I've never tried that one.
Don't. It's a terrible idea. All right. Next one up. Sheboygan serial toilet clogger has been sentenced. That's right. A Sheboygan
I saw this.
serial toilet clogger, that's a thing, has been sentenced to 150 days in jail in a room with a toilet.
I did see this. I do not think it's news, but it is hilarious.
I thought you were about to say years.
No.
And isn't it also like 2 weeks of probation, or it's like 150 days plus something probation? I thought.
Yeah, I think
But,
I think there's also probation where they're not allowed to poop for like 2 years.
You
They're
must
like, here's
insert
some anti-diarrhea medicine.
I may not have read it. There's a chance that I missed that bit, but yeah. No, I think there's 100 hours of community service, which I assume is just unclogging toilets.
Do we know, like, when it comes to a serial clogger, is he like intentionally being like, I'm gonna go into this Shoney's and clog the toilet?
Whoa, why are you presuming that this is a guy?
Because I've seen the pictures.
It is
This
a
is the
guy, but
Yeah.
that's beside the point.
Well, I don't know any ladies that would clog a toilet, but if I did, I'd be wifing them up.
Well, the weird thing is apparently we're like, do you like all you can eat buffets? Because you're my kind of people.
Yeah.
How many crab legs did you eat? 100? Let's get in my truck. Apparently he was actually clogging women's toilets though.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, that's different, dude.
Yeah. Which is
That's strange.
weird.
A
So
little detail I missed.
yeah, but
Oh.
anyhow, yeah. So is it news?
I'm gonna go with I'm gonna like pull a what do they call it? A wild card.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say this is news to me.
All right.
Keith, good news.
Yeah, what?
Alabama fugitive who fed meth to pet attack squirrel named D's Nuts arrested after car
He's
chase.
back.
Last time I talked about him, he was still wanted, and they just said he had a meth-fueled attack squirrel.
Yes.
The real story is not that he was caught. The story is that he named the attack squirrel D's Nuts.
Which is the best name for an attack squirrel.
What else can you name an attack squirrel? There's no other option.
Yeah.
Nutty. I don't know.
No, D's Nuts is it.
Yeah, no, that's probably one of the best ones that you could name a squirrel in general. So good. Well, they caught him. Is the squirrel still at large, or has that been captured as well?
They captured the squirrel and then released it into the wild
Oh my God, that seems dangerous.
without testing it for meth.
Oh my gosh.
So I think there was at least a period of time after they released it that it was like one of the most dangerous apex predators in that area.
They tested the meth, but they didn't test the squirrel if he was on meth.
Right.
Then they made the decision.
What they did is they released it into the wild and they watched it, and it stayed up for 2 weeks. And they were like,
And
yeah,
they were up for those 2 weeks
yeah,
on the meth.
also doing the meth.
Watching the squirrel.
So is it news?
I'm gonna say no, Ryan. What do you say?
Yeah, I don't think so.
No.
Oh,
I know it's sad, but
All right.
I feel like that's made up.
We-
It could be fake.
I feel like you've been letting a lot
Not
of
even the whole fake news thing, but that could seriously just be like made up.
Well, I believe this is our last option for a story that could make it into your publication. Bitcoin's energy consumption now equals that of Switzerland, confirming that Switzerland is a cold, dark place. I may have added that last bit, but yeah, apparently the amount of energy going into mining Bitcoins is the equivalent of energy that Switzerland uses.
Do you guys know about this? So very wealthy people who are investing in Bitcoin will hire entire factories of,
Children.
don't get me wrong here, Asian countries, people within Asian countries, children probably.
Yeah.
I just don't know the PC term to say Asian. I feel like it's jumping all over the place now.
Yeah.
But there'll be entire factories where they just pay people to mine Bitcoin, and then they'll pay those people off at very small sums where they could get away with slave labor basically.
Wait a minute.
And it's
what are they paying people to do? You can't manually mine a Bitcoin. It's not you pull out a pickaxe and start mining Bitcoin.
Isn't Bitcoin I've never invested, I don't know anything about it, but isn't it just equations or something that you're trying to solve?
Yeah, but it's super crazy equations that you have to use you have to use graphics cards and stuff to solve. You couldn't just have 100 people with some abacuses into a Bitcoin.
That's what I guess what I've heard is that there'll be very wealthy people from European countries or American or America, whatever. What were you gonna say?
I don't even know. I thought you had to have big computing power, huge computing power to be able to get Bitcoins now.
Right. So it will be an entire factory's worth of very small computers bound into this one network that they're trying to use. So you have over
poor man's
50 to
supercomputer.
100. Exactly. A poor man's supercomputer.
But why are there Asian people?
Because they can pay them very small amounts. The same people that are making your iPhones and your Nike shoes are being paid to mine Bitcoin, and they're selling those Bitcoins. Or the profit of those Bitcoins are being harvested by rich Europeans.
But the computers are making the Bitcoins, right? Not the people. It's not
right, but
not you have to run around and tap each computer or take pieces and put them together or something and be I have one Bitcoin. I combined all the computers into one. But
I don't know how it works, but I think it is just people solving mathematical problems. I don't know. I am so dumb when it comes to stuff like this.
We just learned, Griff, that for about the last 15 minutes, as you were waxing poetic about many different topics and everything, you were just full of shit this entire time.
Who isn't though? I'm just I'm just good at making my shit look nice.
You just lay it up on Everest and you're that's the highest shit in the world, man.
Exactly. I'm taking selfies. I'm pooping. I'm drinking magnesium and pooping everything out of me.
All right.
Aloe vera.
Is it news?
I'd say that is news. What do you think, Ryan?
Yeah, I guess that's on trend.
All right.
Yeah,
right.
I guess that's where I'm coming from too. Everything that makes news would be trend if it's gonna get clicks.
Well, that's good. So we finished up what's going to be in it. What is it going to be named now?
D's nuts.
D's
news. I don't know. That's not as funny. I'm sorry.
D's news nuts.
D's nuts monthly. All right, awesome. So swing by your local newsstand to check out D's nuts. And I can't even say it.
I don't know why it's funnier than it should be.
No, it's so stupid, but it's great. So definitely check out D's Nuts at your local newsstand. How do you guys feel like you did? Do you think you could be the editor-in-chief of a publication?
No.
I like the honesty. That's what I dig. So we'll have you stick with the Upstarters then, which is the band you guys are in. What do you play for the band, Griff?
I'm actually the drummer, and I'm a lead conspiracist in the band.
You come up with all the conspiracies?
Yeah.
How about you, Ryan? Do you at least assist with conspiracies?
Yeah, that's all I do, actually. I just jot down things. And no, I play guitar in the band and do most of the writing and stuff like that.
He's the band leader. He makes the magic happen.
Awesome.
Everyone else just sort of follows his lead.
I'm the reluctant sort of leader, I guess.
You're
yeah,
like,
his whole
you're like, could someone else do this, please? And they're like,
Yeah,
nah.
like pretty much. I'm like, yeah, it's tough.
He's
yeah.
even said that like no one else would take up the position. He just sort of like fell into it. But I feel like he does a really good job, you know, like honest to goodness credit.
Ryan,
Ryan
is that because
does
you
a really good job.
you started the Upstarters, or was there just a game of like duck, duck, goose, and you got stuck with it?
No, it was definitely a thing that I started along with sort of my partner Kanika, who's the singer of the band.
Oh, okay.
She's her and I have been working together since like 2009 or 10. We had a couple different names along the way, but yeah, because I have no vocal ability. I can't write lyrics. It's just pitiful. I can't sing at all. So she sort of handles all that. I pretty much don't touch that. And so together we sort of come up with everything. And then yeah, so it was like our project, and she's I'm lucky to have her sort of following along on this sort of weird, undefinable band.
Yeah. So we have a track of yours called Cryptic tonight. And that's from the EP Attack of the Upstarters, which came out last year. Tell us a little bit about this song. Well, we're going to take a listen to a clip of it. Set it up for us. What is this about?
I mean, lyrically, I mean, a lot of the lyrical approach for the band is pretty lighthearted and pretty straight to the point, which is good because it lets I feel like the musical side a little bit more free. I feel like you get into pretentious territory when you have like, you know, like complicated music with complicated lyrics. So I feel like we have our music isn't complicated, but
It's music. Is it music that a small lab grown brain could appreciate?
Yeah, I think a wide variety of people do enjoy it, but it is we ask a lot of listeners, I suppose.
It's like as surface level or as deep as you want to make it, I think.
So you think that maybe like the music itself isn't terribly complex, but then you go through a bunch of different genres, so the show itself is a bit more complex.
Yeah, I would agree with that. That's a good way to explain it.
Yeah, I think that's fair. And I mean, I also really make sure not to like rewrite the same song that's already been done. So like, I don't know, I forget if any of you guys play guitar or not, but like I make sure to avoid doing like a whole song with like power chords, for example. I don't think any of our songs are strictly like power chords the whole way.
Oh, okay.
So I really go out of my way to make sure, like even Cryptic, you won't hear really a single sort of like more than maybe one power chord. Like I really try to go far out of my way to like use like things like modes and stuff. I don't know. Sounds.
Well, let's take a listen
nerdy.
to it. This is the track Cryptic from the Upstarters from their EP Attack of the Upstarters.
It's Friday night and I'm about to put on my dancing shoes. Forget the drama of the week. Let's get crazy and party. Dance like you don't care. Let the haters stare. It's Friday night, so just do you. Put on your dancing shoes. On your dancing shoes. On your dancing shoes.
I can totally hear you ending a show with this. People are going to just be like dancing out the door and be like,
Yeah.
I got to go to this show again. That was fucking amazing.
That's exactly what happens, man.
Yeah, it's like hard to. Every time we try not ending with it, it seems like it's like something's missing at the end of the set.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's
We have this like little pause break where the song ends, and then Kanika will run around and be like, you know, like, Ryan, you ready? She'll be like, Griff, you ready? Everyone else in the band, you ready? She'll obviously name them individually.
Yeah.
And then she'll just count us off, and then we go back into the chorus. I feel like
That's awesome. Yeah, no, it sounds like it's just a great energy to it. And yeah, I can see that just being an incredible crescendo to like the end of a concert. So I look forward to hearing what that sounds like live. If you would like to check out the show live, it'll be Saturday, July 13th at Dangerously Delicious Pies in Washington, D.C. They'll be playing this song last. Make sure to be there for that. You can also find out more at upstartersband.com if you want to hear more music, more shows, all of those types of things.
It's a free show too, by the way.
What?
So, yeah, so donation based, you know. So make sure you help the band get, Sergeant Scagnetti get back to North Carolina. I'm pretty sure that's where they're from.
We don't want them stuck here.
Yeah, they don't want to be stuck here probably. So help them get back home.
Yeah, definitely. So you can go there for free, but if you dig the music, make sure to throw some money in the bucket and show them your appreciation in a monetary way. And
if you can't do that, we have merch online.
yeah, there you go, and merch. So go upstartersband.com to get that.
Yeah, we do have some stuff for sale online, or get it at the show. It's whatever's easy. Buy a drink. I think for this show we get a little sliver of beer money. So, just come out and even having a drink will support all the music there.
And don't forget, we have the entire song at the end of this podcast. Go to the 1 hour mark. You can listen to that. So let's, we're running a little short on time. So let's run on to what the thing most people don't look forward to. We'll blow through this the best way we can. This is a little a game show we created called Please God, Just Get One Right.
Speaking of great closers to end a show with.
Yeah. And so we have 6 trivia questions for you that is a topic that was picked by our previous guest, Doc Pine, and the respect that he deserves. He's playing Sunday, July 7th up at Annapolis, Maryland, on the streets up there for a festival. So if you don't like this category, you guys can go up to Annapolis and you can just yell at him while he's playing.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
He probably wouldn't know what
I think he'd appreciate it. I think he'd really appreciate it. So are you ready for the category that Doc Pine and the respect that he deserves selected for you?
I'm ready.
It is obscure comic heroes. How do you guys feel?
Oh, man. So I don't pay attention to anything in terms of comic books or heroes or movies or most pop culture.
Well, then this may be a little easier to get through because you could just say, oh, fuck that. I don't know anything about any of these things. But let's try it. Let's see if we can get just one right. So
let's do it.
Adam, go for it.
All right. Everyone who's seen a movie lately knows about Captain America, aka Steve Rogers.
There you go.
What you may not know is that in the comics, there were several iterations of Captain America after his death in 1945, including the 4th Captain America who operated in the 1950s. However, even though he used the same super soldier formula as Rogers, he didn't use it correctly and slowly went insane to where he is now the revived Captain America's foe, having led militant militias, tried to kill the Captain America, and even at one point leading a fascist organization trying to take over New York as the, quote, Grand Director. Can you tell me what this character's name was, either original or assumed?
Holy crap. That's insane. That sounds awesome, though.
Yeah, I can.
Yeah.
Any guesses, Ron?
Man, I don't know.
This is someone in the universe.
Yeah, it's an
What
obscure
year was
hero.
this?
I think his original run as Captain America was 1950s.
Probably like something like real on the nose, like Dr. Darkness or like
Mr.
Go for it.
Mr. Marxist.
Oh, man.
I don't know.
Well, yeah, I don't know either.
So his
Yeah, I
original
don't
name
know.
was William Burnside. Later, but when he became Captain America, changed his name to Stephen Rogers.
It's very similar to the actual Captain America.
Yep.
Huh.
All right, Keith, what you got?
All right, you didn't get that one right. Try this one. Shortly after Joe Simon and Jack Kirby created that little character known as Captain America for Marvel Comics, they came up with an eerily similar character for DC Comics. The new character was basically a superhero cop with no real superpowers other than a heart of gold and a strong punch. Can you name this hero also known as Jim Harper? That was his normal name. What was his hero name?
Oh no. I have no idea.
No idea. That's okay.
Man, we suck.
I mean, we don't suck. We just don't pay attention to all that
Yeah,
shit.
it's hard. This is a very difficult trivia question. So no guess.
all that stuff is make believe.
All of it is. All
Man.
right. What do you have next for us, Adam?
Well, what was the answer?
They
Yeah.
said I don't know.
Well, what's the real answer?
Oh, the Guardian.
Oh, okay.
Guardian is the name. Yes.
This mutant in the Marvel Universe has a strange entity growing out of his chest. When fed an object that contains someone's DNA, this creature spits out a voodoo doll of that person, allowing this individual to control that person. He originally joined the X-Men, but later betrayed them and is now seen in the comics working with corrupt government officials and mutant hate groups. What is this mutant's name?
Sigourney Weaver. No, I don't know.
Audrey 2.
No, the
Good
answer I'm looking
guess.
for is Johnny D.
Johnny D.
Oh man, I've heard of that.
Oh, yeah?
I have heard of that. Yep.
All right.
know where.
The Legion of Super Pets is a team of superpowered animals in the pre-crisis DC universe. They were created by the Legionnaires, who realized that their alien enemies, the Brain Globes, could not control animals. They had like mind control abilities, but not for animals. So they created this whole Legion of Super Pets. Can you name any of the Super Pets? Any super pet?
My pets are named Punky, Ivy, Dolphin, and Bee.
And Gay Penguin.
Right.
No.
Gay feet.
We have Crypto the Super Dog, Streaky the Super Cat, Beppo the Super Monkey, Comet the Super Horse, and Prody the Super Alien, who joined in later.
Prody?
Yes, Prody.
And Streaky?
Yes, Streaky and Beppo.
What's the cat leaves like little dookie streaks on the carpet?
Yeah, just
I have a cat that does that. Isn't that crazy?
yeah, fights crimes by just
Fairly
rubbing
normal,
on the carpet.
believe it or not.
It's just crazy.
Poop streaks are normal if you have a
Streaky
cat.
the poop
It
streak.
happens.
That super cat once left a poop streak at the top of Mount Everest.
Mount Everest on the Himalayas, mind
Yes.
you.
All right, Adam.
All right. This X-Man's unique feature is that his head is a star. Held by the Chinese in an underground prison, he is eventually rescued and joins the X-Men, leading their special class of social misfits and outcasts. Then came a rather confusing story arc where we revealed he's actually the then thought to be dead Magneto, only to not actually be Magneto. And then there might actually be two of them. It seems even the experts are a little confused by what the hell is going on with this particular star-headed mutant. Can you name what his or their name is?
Well, I feel like all villains, they have to have like doctor in front of it. So like Dr. when he's like split two, there's two of them. Dr. Duo.
Oh,
It's Fred
good.
Fred Durst, Dr. Starfish, and the hot dog flavored water.
I like your answer, but the actual answer is Zorn.
Zorn with an
That's
Never
X.
would have guessed
familiar.
that.
X-O-R-N.
Yeah.
I think that's how you say that.
Well, wasn't there like a Comedy Central show and like it was like a kind of a parody on like superheroes and the main character was Zorn? He was like a He-Man kind of thing.
I believe you. I just haven't seen
Yeah, I
it.
thought
I
That's
have
funny.
no doubt. That's probably absolutely correct. I don't know. The only reason we know the answers to these questions is because we looked them up first. We cheat. All right, this is my
These
favorite
are
one for the record.
Tough questions.
Yeah, they are. No, they're totally hard. But this is my favorite one of the entire night for the record. Featured in Secret Origins Volume 2 and Legionnaires Volume 4, this 1989 comic book character had a superpower where he ripped off his own arms and used them as clubs.
wow.
Man.
It's like the Crash Test Dummies TV show when
Yeah.
I was a kid.
What is
Well,
the
if you-
name of your new favorite superhero?
So he rips off both of his arms and what arm does he use
as
them?
clubs.
But with what? Like his arms are ripped off.
Does he have telekinesis powers?
I assume that he rips it off with one of his other arms and then just beats people with his arm.
Oh, okay, so he still has one arm. He's not a multi-amputee. Is this?
Well, he can pull off either arm, I think is how it works. And then use it
Gotcha.
as a club.
Oh, and then he can reattach them too. That makes
Yeah.
sense. If he's a superhero, he can just like
Right.
throw it back on.
I'm not
I
sure
don't know,
if like
man.
they grow back and he just discards the arm after he beats people with it, or if it.
I'm more worried about like what he's beating later when he's out of arms, because
Yeah.
you know those urges just like pop up.
Well, the cool thing is if you take your arm off first, it feels like somebody else.
Exactly.
So,
I don't know. I've never heard of any of this before.
what's his name? What would you name this superhero?
Man. Amp. I don't know. Ant Man.
Amp.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Ampu something or like Uno comes to mind.
No, this is
The
my
sh-
favorite name for a superhero
stranger.
ever. His name
We
is
failed.
Arm Fall Off Boy.
No.
What? Is that real?
Yeah.
What?
He also
Arm
went as
Fall Off.
Splitter for a while, but Arm Fall Off
Splitter?
Boy is what I'm referring to him as because
S-
that was his
Split-
original name.
Splitter
Wow.
sounds pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Splitter is like has as much value as Gambit
Yeah.
to me.
No, absolutely. But Arm Fall Off Boy, way better.
Yeah,
They call him the stranger.
I like that.
All right. Unfortunately, you did not get any right, but you do get the opportunity to take all that pain, embarrassment, and frustration and ball it up into a brand new category for our next guest. What would you like them to try and answer 6 questions about?
Damn. I mean, do you guys want them to be able to have a sliver?
It's up to you.
of-
You get.
Man, I don't know.
We'll tell them
Because-
where you're playing, just so you know.
What band is it? Do we hate this band that's coming on?
No, we're not going to tell you who it is.
Oh man. So my mind immediately goes to just conspiracies.
We give them like Italian drama.
Yeah, I mean,
Conspiracies
I
are
don't
actually
really
pretty
know
good.
any lore about anything.
We don't have to.
So, conspiracies, is that what I heard?
Yeah, I mean,
That's
they're
a good
like,
one.
who do these people think actually knocked down the tower? Let's go. Let's
that
go
could
with
get
that.
them into some weird like trouble.
I think that's the point, though.
Yeah, no. All right. We'll do conspiracies. So listen next week to hear 6 questions about conspiracies from our next guests.
One of them can be that Bob Lazar thing that just came out on Netflix. You got that whole like UFO thing. I'm more interested in aliens than I am in government conspiracies. So if you guys could just like,
So alien
Dig down-
conspiracies, is that?
yeah, dig down that rabbit hole. And I'm not talking about History Channel at 3 a.m. I'm talking about real, Tom DeLonge conspiracy theories.
All right. So
He left Blink 182 to study conspiracies, guys. This is deep stuff
it's
we're talking
deep,
about.
deep stuff. A guy that used to play guitar is now a.
That song was written about aliens.
It's all right. Tell me.
All right, so let's get down to some of these stories. We are running out of time here, so we'll do our little interview here we call Near and Far. We're going to get 2 stories from you, assuming we have time, because we only got a few minutes left. Let's start off with the Far story. I heard that you were trying to get home early from a show. Tell us a little bit about that.
All right, so we played in Richmond, Virginia. Do you remember who we played with? I think it was the
Yeah, they're-
Audacity Brass Band.
Yeah, really great band. Check them out.
Yeah.
They're actually playing at Lock-In this year. Congrats to them for making the road to Lock-In.
Nice.
Lock-In's a very large, shall we say, hippie festival in
Cool.
Central Virginia. It's super cool that they're able to play that. But anyway, we opened for them, and then myself, Andrew, our trumpet player, and then Emerson, our saxophone player, we all thought we were going to be cool and get out of there a little bit early.
Yeah.
We left the venue around like 1 a.m. We ended up getting stuck on the interstate right outside of Columbia, Maryland. Around 2 a.m, we sat there and waited until about 6 a.m.
Oh no! Wow. So, why? And you got a flat tire? Is that what it was that got you stuck by the side of the road?
Yeah, so we ended up getting like a flat tire. I literally fell asleep and woke up to them being like, Griff, we have a flat tire, blah, blah, blah. What are we going to do? Emerson called his dad. I grew up like semi-spoiled,
Sure.
to where it's like if I have a problem calling my dad, he's going to come fix it. Emerson's dad showed up. Emerson got in the car and just left. This dad.
They didn't even change the tire?
Didn't even change the tire. I was like, do you have a jack? Do you have a spare tire? I asked your dad all of these things. We need to get out of here because we were trying to fly to New Orleans the next morning. So Emerson ended up leaving. His dad didn't help us. We ended up sitting around for like, I would say 4 to 5 hours, just like having chit chats, staring at our phones.
Yeah.
It was in the winter. It was super cold. We kept like turning on the heat in the car. Waited until we thought like we should let the car rest. We would get out of the car. We would bounce around a little bit on the side of the highway. We kept like checking the GPS of I think he had Geico or something.
Wait, can we talk about Emerson's dad for a second? So you looked at Emerson's dad and you were like, "Hey, brother, do you have a jack?" And he just like, did he just ignore you and get back in his car? Or
I never saw Emerson's dad. Emerson said he called his dad,
Okay.
and I was like, you need to ask him when he pulls up if he has this, and this.
Oh.
Because Andrew's car had a jack, but it did not have a spare tire.
so a
we
jack
could, like-
wouldn't have helped you at that point, just for the record.
Right. But little did I know that he said he had a spare tire. He just didn't know where it was. Like we played a show later, months later, where he was like, "Oh, actually."
Oh man, we just ran out of time.
Oh, nice.
I hope you're able to find the spare tire sometime. It must have been hidden in the car somewhere.
And Andrew's still on the side of the road.
Andrew's still on the side of the road.
Yes, he's still
we're
there
professionally
right
smitten.
now. Go check out the Upstarters Saturday, July 13th at Dangerously Delicious Pies in Washington, D.C. Go to upstartersband.com to find out more about their shows and their music. While we're at it, please like our posts, follow us, retweet us, and share the show on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. We cannot do this without you. Do not forget to review us on Facebook, Apple Podcasts, and Google Play. If you're an artist, musician, or culture creator in the DC area, we want you on our show. Email us at booking@anotherwastedhour.com. Thanks to engineer Adam, Kevin Evinger, McNally22, Justin Rogers, Big Metal Records, Big Metal Studios, and Alchemical Records. Most of all, thanks to our guest Upstarters and you, our fans, for wasting a perfectly good hour with us. This has been Another Wasted Hour, and if you just realized that, don't blame us. We warned you.
Put your hands up. Put your hands up. It's Friday night and I'm about to put on my dancing shoes. Forget the drama of the week. Let's get crazy and party. Dance like you don't care. Let the haters stare. It's Friday night, so just do you. Put on your dancing shoes. Oh, oh. On your dancing shoes. Oh, oh, oh. On your dancing shoes. Dance, 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 dance. It's rolling down my back. My t-shirt is wet. Turn it up, shots on me. Let's get crazy and party. Dance like you don't care. Let the haters stare. It's Friday night, so just do you. Put on your dancing shoes. On your dancing shoes. Ooh, on your dancing shoes.
Put your hands up, put 'em up. Put your hands up, put 'em up. Throw your hands in the air and just dance like you just don't care. Put your hands up, put 'em up. Put your hands up, put 'em up. Throw your hands in the air and just dance like you just don't care.
It's Friday night and I'm about to put on my dancing shoes. Forget the drama of the week. Let's get crazy and party. Dance like you don't care. Let the haters stare. It's Friday night, so just do you. Put on your dancing shoes. On your dancing shoes. On your dancing shoes.
Put your hands up, put 'em up. Put your hands